Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ryan Ride Mechanic channel. I wanted to go over a quick little video. This is actually something a lot of people have been asking me about. It's one of the few topics. But this is Zamperla's video about their lightning trains. And I wanted to go over it. And there's another video. It should just be, 5 minutes apiece. And I wanted to go over and look at them and give some insight if I can, or offer my opinion. Let's get into it.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
So with all this talk about top thrill dragster being redone, and if Zamperla is the manufacturer, we don't know, or if Intamin's doing it, we don't know at this point, which they're supposed to be telling us soon, but or at least we might know something soon. I'm not great at staying on top of this stuff, but I do have a lot of experience with Zamperla, and that could be a good or a bad thing. I'm not sure which way it goes. And I wanted to look at these lightning trains to see like what they're all about, and see what the big hubbub is here. So let's watch this video and see what happens. Okay, mill machined aluminum, minimal welding on main components, 25% reduction of vehicle weight. So they're getting the vehicle weight reduced by making everything out of aluminum, and there's no welding. So welding requires annual NDT, and so they got away from that by using aluminum and machined it. The only thing with that is that you don't get completely away from NDT because you still have to have it visually NDT'd every year, which the typical insurance companies won't allow you to visually do it yourself. You have to have a third-party NDT company come in that's certified in visual inspection. They have to do it. And then I know from buying billet-style components from Vacoma, like they still require NDT. It's just stretched out. It's like at 5 years you have to do actual NDT, which for aluminum much more expensive and time consuming, but I guess over 5 years it's not that bad. You have to use eddy current inspection, which is basically where they energize the part, put a magnetism around it, and use a little wand and go around the corners, and they're looking for a jump in magnetism and or increase in magnetic flux around areas, which would indicate a crack in the aluminum if it's not visually seen, that is. So if you look at that, it went from a single vehicle, pardon my little play frame here, it went from a single vehicle right here, and then you can go down to multiple, up to 28 seats, which is pretty good. I mean, B&Ms most of the time right off the bat are 32, so 28 is pretty good. And then what decides that length on the train is the hitches. So the hitches are the things that carry the weight of the train back to front. So typically you want the stress of the train carried right in the middle. So if we look at it and we go right here to the middle, it's like this hitch right here is going to be carrying the weight of the train. When you're going up a lift hill, it's carrying the compression of these 3 coaches, and it's carrying the lifting load of these 3 coaches right here. So you can only put as much stress on that hitch as it can hold. So you got 3 going that way, 3 going that way, and then I'm imagining if you put a single chain dog into that coach, it would probably be rated for the same load. But that's what they're going for with that modular design, which is pretty neat because you could take these and retrofit that onto a different ride. Only thing I wonder about is the track gauge side to side, because not all manufacturers use the same gauge. They're different, so they must be somewhat custom machined each time. They're not just a standard fixed thing. That's interesting. So for this, a chain lift and a vertical chain lift are the same thing, essentially. The chain component changes inside a vertical lift because it's got roller wheels on both sides of it to carry the load. But basically, chain lift and roller lift are the same exact thing. So nothing really changes inside the train for that. Um, the only difference is on a vertical lift, you typically go away from a chain dog, like on the train, and you typically go to a pusher that's on the chain itself. It pushes from behind. So they're saying they have magnets underneath that they can put on there to accept probably linear synchronous launches. I don't see why in this day and age you'd want to go backwards to LIM technology. I honestly can't think of a good reason why you'd use LIM over LSM these days. So, ergonomic seats maximize freedom, comfort, padding, easy to maintain. Um, that's pretty good. I like that. They look nice and spacious. There's a nice open air design. I like that because one of the things is that typically the over the shoulder harnesses, like you'd find on common rides, they end up banging you around more than anything else. So the vest style, like B&M went to on their flyers, or these simple just lap bars, that's a nice design for that. It looks really slick. I like that. Plus onboard audio and lighting. And lighting. We're putting lighting on these things now. That's awesome. Audio, giant pain in the ass, because most roller coasters aren't meant to hold audio because of the batteries and extra weight, and then you need a whole wiring harness to go through the thing, which when you twist roller coasters, wires don't like to be twisted. They have a problem with it. So audio and electrical harnesses on rides are not the best thing. They eat up a lot of maintenance time. All right, that was pretty slick. I like that. Um, can't wait to see those trains in action. That's going to be something quite interesting. Let's see. Let's take a look at. There's another video I have, which is them explaining a little bit more about the trains in person instead of just an animation. And I'd like to look at that one now. Let's take a look at that.
When we designed the Lightning, we designed it around two key factors: comfort and cost of ownership. We also talked to hundreds of amusement park owners around the world. We got their input on the various rides they've been on across the globe and put all that into our attraction.
Yeah, when you talk with amusement parks, the first thing you want them to do is complain. Amusement parks, however, don't want to complain to manufacturers because they feel like they're burning a bridge. But manufacturers want complaints on rides because they know what to fix afterwards. So manufacturers actually love when amusement parks complain. They don't like it when other people complain, but they like it when the amusement park complains because they know they could modify their stuff for future use, and then it will make the end client happier.
On the comfort side, we really rethought about how we design coasters. Our Thunderbolt vehicles were nice, but they weren't groundbreaking. The Lightning is. And what we've done is we've taken this seat and restraint and made it very user-friendly. We worked to make sure that it's extremely ergonomic. Guests from a wide range of body sizes can comfortably fit in our seat and be subjected to the thrills from our roller coaster.
Guests of different body types can fit in their seats. that's pretty good because there's a lot of big body types out there that won't fit in Intamin style seats at all. So that's pretty good. Um, yeah, they're typically that was a hard one when you get rides designed overseas, uh, Germany, Italy, places like that, because they're people, although they're a lot of times taller, but they're not as big as most Americans are. So Americans have a hard time fitting into things designed in Europe.
Designers. In addition, we move the tubing way outside the headline. This means it's spaced very wide and you're never going to have head banging like on a traditional over-the-shoulder restraint. The lap bar fits you right on the upper thigh, making it a very comfortable ride. Both of these attributes were key when we talked to our clients and we put all of their feedback into the Lightning vehicle.
Yeah, the lap bar fitting over the thighs, that's the key thing. Premier, I think, really pioneered that area when they started building the skyrocket trains with no over-the-shoulder restraints. And they said, look, we demonstrate that if we pin a person into the ride this particular way, they can't get out. They won all sorts of awards for that train design, which is awesome. So I think all the other manufacturers are following suit behind it, and they realized, hey, we can start minimizing seats and restraints and stuff and make people much more comfortable at the same time and give them a more thrilling experience and still keep the safety on point.
Cost of ownership is so big at Zamperla, and that's why we looked at doing things differently here too. Traditionally on a roller coaster seat, you have to send the whole thing back to be refoamed. It takes a lot of time and money to get it right. What we've done here is to make all of these individual pieces. This makes this seat something an owner can change out in a matter of minutes instead of it taking days to get the seat replaced and refoamed.
That is a big one. So when you're at an amusement park and the seat gets torn up, the padding on it gets torn up, you have to remove the seat typically, which means you need spare seats. And they're typically very expensive and it's not easily kept in stock. And then you have to send them out and the whole thing has to be redone, which is also quite expensive. So the fact that they put modular padding into the seat to make it like you just unscrew it and take it off and screw a new one on, that is leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of the competition. Because that's just something, it's like, well, most seat foam on a lot of rides can just come right off and be replaced, but not so much with the bigger high dollar seats. They're all one piece, they're molded foam inside. So you have to take the whole seat out of commission and remove it and ship it out to somebody to refoam it.
All of these things are part of Zamperla's roller coaster design. We've really tried to think of each and every square centimeter of the Lightning. From the wheels to the top of the seat, our engineers have worked to make sure this is the best roller coaster train in the world. And we look forward to riding with you soon on coasters around the globe.
Well, okay, there you go. So, looks pretty cool. And I'm excited for those trains to come out. That'll be really interesting. I hope they can get that to take off, and I hope some parks place some orders for those because there's a lot of old trains out there that I'm sure could benefit from these newer revised models, and it looks like they're making them in all the right shapes and forms to get them out there and get use on them. Will they be good or not? Not sure. I've seen some pictures from some trade shows and stuff like that, and let's see, I've seen pictures from IAPA, I believe it was, and I don't see much of a suspension on the wheel carrier. So that means they're solid, which typically means that's going to be bumpy unless they have something like, I don't know, like B&M uses metal elastic bushings on the inside to isolate the road wheel axle from the wheel carrier. That helps just increase the suspension travel so it smooths out the ride a little bit. I'm sure Zamperla probably has done something like that, especially with working so closely with Intamin over the last few years. I'm sure they have their stuff kind of figured out going into that. You typically don't just shoot from the hip on these things. I thought these were some interesting videos to go over, so just wanted to go over them and share some thoughts with you. And I know what will be in the comments, and I'm going to make a separate video on my thoughts of Zamperla themselves. And I know everyone's asking, what do you think? What do you think about Zamperla doing top thrill dragster? Although we don't at this point officially know that's correct or not, but I have thoughts on that, and I'll get into them. So I'll make another video about that. Whether it comes out before or after the news, I don't know, but I'll do something and let people know my thoughts. I'm Ryan the Ride Mechanic. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It lets me know that I'm doing good, and dog's happy about it. Anyways, see you the next time. Stay off the arcades.